Greetings, it is I, Category Jinro, your resident werewolf VTuber, and welcome back to the Moonlight Brew, where we serve coffee as well as adult beverages. Now, my little wolfies, as you can see, I have my trucker hat on with my aviator glasses. Originally, we were going to play Final Fantasy VII OG, but I'm going to push that back to Tuesday's stream, the beginning of next week's stream, because I figure all the wolfies are probably still kind of a little bit tucked away in their beds in this early weekend edition here. So why not push it to a weekday where more people can actually be able to watch that particular episode? Instead, we're going to be joining the open roads yet again in American Truck Simulator. We haven't played it in a while. Let's see if we can fix our business up a little bit. And guess what, wolfies? I'm going to take you on this road trip with me. So let's get into the game. It's probably going to be a little bit loud on my end. If so, my apologies for that. Just want to make sure everything's good. Okay, we're good to go. Good to go. The game is a little bit interesting in the sense I have to kind of tab out and certain things. Because if I play Border, it doesn't really work. Let's cancel that. We're going to continue with our truck. I do not have a lot of the DLC in this particular game. Keep that in mind, wolfies, because I only have the base game. I have been interested in buying some of the DLC. Like the Texas bundle, I'm waiting for it to go on a really good sale. Colorado bundle goes on sale quite a bit. So as you remember last time, we haven't played this since week 2. A long time ago we played this game. We have our own truck with our own like trailer, so we can do the majority of all the content within the game. So we're gonna look in the job market. We can take cargo. Cargo missions I think take a long time. Let's see. Let's look at what jobs are available. There's something we can do very short. Phoenix to Phoenix. That's pretty fun to do. 13 hours. So for those who are wondering, 2 hours is about 20 minutes in this game, from what I'm told. So we're trying to figure out, I don't want to really go with route length. I want price. The best amount of pay that they're going to give me, depending. 12,000 for a 3-hour drive. That doesn't sound bad. Let's set the GPS there and go get that job then, wolfies. So you're going to be hopping in the back seat with me. We're gonna just play some good old truck simulator. You're gonna be my co-pilot for the day. Hop in, wolfies. Come on, get into the driver's seat, or not really the driver's seat. What is this? The passenger seat. I do not drive, by the way, in case you're wondering. So do we already get the mission from here? Is that what I'm thinking it is? Let me see. Are we already gonna get it? Are we here? What is this? Press the following to view a job offer? Oh, no. We're not doing that. We already have one, right? Yep, so we gotta go. 7-hour drive. I was not expecting that. So maybe mission's gonna take us all the way to the stream, apparently. Alright, so we gotta drive. I believe we're going into California again, because we're in Arizona right now at the moment. I'm not gonna use the fast travel, because I think you can't necessarily do that. Oh, we'll go for a nice little stroll. We have enough gas, right? I'm supposed to stop. Nobody saw me, right? I stopped a little bit there, wolfies. It's not really much going on here. Alright. Maybe... Well, no, we're good on gas for now. It'd be a waste of money if we do that. Alright, so wolfies, how have you been? Last time I saw you, we were doing some good old-fashioned Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I will be playing more the Monster Hunter World Iceborne, as well as I want to return back to also Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, because there's a lot of things I want to do in Rise as well. It's interesting what Capcom is doing in both of those games right now. Like, there was the Return to World campaign, and I think they got way too many people playing Monster Hunter World, to the point that nobody was really playing Sunbreak, particularly in PC lobbies. So now there's a whole new campaign going on. It's not Return to World campaign, but like they put Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak on sale for like $9 over the course of the last week. As well as World, the base game of World is also on sale for like $9, but it's interesting now because like on the social media websites for Monster Hunter, they're like, yeah, the hunting guild this week, I forgot what's called, Guild Hub, that they do. It's a weekly Twitch series where they have like high profile hunters doing like a whole bunch of endgame content. Let me lower my speed because I want to go against the speed limit. No sense getting a traffic ticket for that, right? Drink, drive, lose. Isn't that so the case? So normally I offer you a coffee or adult beverage, but because we are driving today, it would be very irresponsible of me as your Moonlight Brewmaster to drink while I'm behind the wheel. I will only be having coffee, as well as you today will use for this Saturday morning. We got a sharp left turn coming up ahead. Gotta make sure I see that stop sign. Okay, I stopped. Now, I'm always paranoid when I'm using my truck to make deliveries. The reason for that has to do with the fact that my truck, as many people have seen the last time I was playing American Truck Simulator, got smashed up a couple times to the point where, like, I bought this truck brand new, right? I didn't use a used truck. I never took out a bank loan. I literally grinded the money to get the first truck. I don't even have people working in my trucking company yet because I haven't been able to make a lot of money. I was figuring at some point, what the hell are those guys doing on the road, side of the road, and they almost hit the cops. That would have been terrible. We would have been in big trouble for that. But yeah, so I'm very paranoid because this truck has been hit a couple of times, not because I crashed into things, but because sometimes in American Truck Simulator, what ends up happening are the cars kind of, the drivers, the passenger drivers in particular, kind of don't obey the traffic laws. I mean, they've said that they've fixed it in recent updates so that they behave a little bit more like how they're supposed to, Wolfies, but that never really is truly the case, because I still see them doing some boneheaded things from time to time when I do play. We got a sharp right turn coming up here. I don't remember if I have to hit the signal. Let's say we're gonna... Oh, that would have been bad. We almost had our first car accident of the day. That would have come right out of my pay, which is my own company pay, right? Look at the scenery, though. It's quite beautiful. Eyes on the road, right? We don't want to crash. We don't want to do anything foolish here. But yeah, so like, I've had this truck crashed up a couple of times. It's always kind of annoyed me every time that it happens, because it's usually not my own doing when it occurs. I've had tickets that I didn't want tickets for. Like, it's like I obeyed what I think are the traffic rules. This is such a sharp turn. I can't really go at full speed because look at these pedestrian drivers. If I go above the speed limit, surely they're going to wreck my truck. And then it's going to be over for our American-made truck business. So, you know, last time we played it too, this game wasn't running as well. It was only because obviously my laptop at the time was in dire need of being serviced. I didn't realize it, so that's why it was a little bit more glitchy, crashy, I suppose. I think we're gonna stop for some gas here. So it's a long 7-hour drive. We should probably have a full tank of gas before we continue on. If you want something from the truck stop, now is your time to get it, Wolfies. Do you want maybe juicy juice? What is it? I did stop my engine. Okay. Let's get... Do you want that? Look at that. That's super juice for $3. Okay, our tank is full. All right, speak now. Get your churros or your bag of chips or your Slim Jims, whatever you want, Wolfies. And meet me back in here in, let's say, 30 seconds. All right. It's a nice night out. Or day, I suppose you could say. All right, let's go. We got a long drive behind us. We got a hour drive. No, how many hours? Hey, what the hell? Who hit me? I didn't even see anybody there. Well, that's gonna ruin my truck. I'm gonna have to go repair it. I'm not gonna repair it right now. Unless we have, like, engine failure. See what I told you about, like, the drivers, particularly in certain areas, that they're really... Okay, let's wait in the light. Hopefully that's not gonna affect our drive today. Any day now. My wheel is like, look at that. I can turn the wheel all the way. I don't think I'm supposed to be able to do that in a car. Waiting for the traffic light. Okay. Got rear-ended there, man. What are you doing? Go. Gonna get road rage here. Oh, why is there so much traffic? What are you... These guys, drive. Drive. I got a turn coming up. It's always the other trucks that really prevent... What are you doing? You in for a Sunday stroke? Oh, he's turning too. This is going to be great. Come on, make your turn. Okay, let's hopefully nobody's gonna rear end us here. We gotta pay attention. Looking at my rear view mirrors. Okay, good. We might have to repair a truck after this one. So we're going into Los Angeles, Albuquerque, 1 mile away. I said speed limit's so low for this. Wonder Wolfies. So, but yeah, I want to do more Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak content as well. I want to kind of have a nice balance of the two. Some people have asked me what we're going to be doing with regards to Diablo 4. Right now, just waiting for Season 4 to drop in the middle of May. Until then, Diablo 4 will probably be on hiatus again from the channel. Just simply due to the fact that, you know, we finished Season 3. There's not much Season 3 content that I can do at this point. We know when you guys are interested in watching it and when you're not, so we try to pay attention for the most part in regards to numbers. I know people have been interested in Power World and Monster Hunter, so we like to give you a little bit more of what you would want on the channel, while also, you know, experimenting with things from time to time here, because that's what we like to do here. 75 speed limit? I can actually go 75 here? Yes, we can finally... We're in the need for speed right now, Wolfies, because 6-hour drive takes a while. This is going to probably be a full... Why do I have the turn signal on? I don't know. Look at the beautiful scenery, though. It doesn't remind me of my time spent in California, because some people know this. I did live on the West Coast for a tiny little bit. I also have lived on the East Coast. I've been fortunate. I've lived on both sides of the coast. Personal favorite, I do prefer the West Coast over the East Coast. No disrespect for the East Coast, but West Coast has better sights and views. Worse traffic, though, in my personal opinion. This traffic is really bad. I am not actually a driver, IRL. I do not drive, mostly because I've always lived in metropolis areas where there hasn't really been need for a car, because it's very expensive in metropolis areas that I've lived to own a car, so I do not drive. Usually my significant other in the past have been the ones to drive, not so much myself. It's really mostly due to like choice, because when you live in a big metropolitan area, there's always mass transit, particularly where I live right now. In terms of just like area, it's a lot of mass transit. We have like subway system, buses. The city, like where I am, the expression is that it never sleeps, and that's actually pretty much the truth. It really never sleeps. There's always people working 24/7. There's always businesses open, and they've been passing a bill here in my particular area where they're going to have like congestion pricing, which basically means that if you want to drive your car into specific areas, you have to pay like a fee just to go into that area and drive, on top of gas, obviously on top of car insurance, on top of parking. And it's very counterintuitive, to say the very least, to own a car, particularly in the city. It's like so expensive. Like a car in general is like gonna run you, and I'm putting this mildly, like a very average economy class type of car is gonna run you $28,000, right? Then, and that's like a modest car, not a great car for all intents and purposes. Then on top of that, obviously you have to have the insurance. Then when you factor in gas, then when you factor in parking, because in the particular city that I live in, it's very hard to find parking because there's so many people who have cars, which is kind of the reason why they've been trying to pass the congestion pricing bill here, because they want to like reduce carbon emissions. I can understand that, because, you know, I do understand that the environment has taken so many hits for the team, so to speak. But when you do stuff like congestion pricing, there's a lot of people who, in my particular city, need to actually drive to get around, to like get to their jobs. And there's people who have businesses where, like, what if you have a truck that you drive around? Case in point, like here. What if you have, you know, a moving company? You know, what if you have a small, like, mom and pop shop that does deliveries of certain things like furniture? Like, what do you do then, Wolfies, right? like, it becomes a problem. So it's like way too expensive to own a car. So most of the time, either I will go on foot when I need to go somewhere, or I will take, nowadays, lately, the bus, because our mass transit system, this is the ironic part about where I live, Wolfies. I'm pulling back the curtain a little bit, and maybe it doxes me a little bit, maybe it doesn't, and, you know, like I always said, I don't really particularly care that, you know, geographical location. I'm in NA East at the moment, though I do sometimes spend time in NA West as well. So, you know, I'm not always in the East, right? So, but with that being said, though, you know, our subway system's been pretty bad. Like, the crime rate has been through the roof ever since, like, the pandemic hit. Like, when the pandemic started, it wasn't so bad, but there weren't a lot of people grabbing the trains. Then, around 2021, subway attacks started to go up, I guess because there was less of, pardon the noise in the background. It must be a cop car passing by behind us there. But, yeah. So, speaking of that, though, like, in the pandemic, you know, crime kind of went up in the subways because there weren't a lot of cops patrolling. There weren't a lot of security, so to speak. So a lot of subway attacks started, both physical subway attacks, and then there were also people, like, being sexually assaulted or attempted sexual assaults in the subways. And it's gotten worse as the years progress. We're, like, in the third year now, and crime in my particular city in the subways has been ridiculous. So it's like, do you really want to go necessarily on the train and get, like, mugged, robbed, beat up, potentially assaulted, either or type of way? Or do you want to go on the bus? And this stuff has happened on the bus, but not as widespread. So, you know, that's why a lot of people in my city like to drive, right? But now with the congestion pricing, like, it's too expensive to own a car with all the extra added costs. So what do you do, Wolfies, right? Like, what do you truly do? You're like in a rock and a hard place for all intents and purposes. So, you know, it's rough. I mostly on foot, or I'll take the bus. Most of the time when I have to do something of very importance, it's usually I try to take things that are within my area, so I don't have to, like, travel. Because, like, if I had to grab the train, I don't even feel personally comfortable. And I'm a guy, right? But, like, there's a lot of stuff. There's been stabbings. They've pushed people into the train. It's crazy. I don't understand. Like, ever since I gotta lower my speed, I'm way above the speed limit. Ever since, like, pandemic, people have been really, really crazy. Like, in the city, like, with the crime rate, and, like, all over the place. Because I've noticed a lot more. That's not my turn. A lot more, like, I don't want to say unhinged, but, like, mentally unhinged, mentally unstable people. Just kind of in general. I don't know if it's just because there was so much stress involved with what happened with the pandemic, and then on top of that, like, the stress of the aftermath, because let's be honest, people have lost their jobs, people haven't been able to find good work, people are struggling to get by, particularly if you're living in, like, city life in particular. You know, people are mostly living paycheck to paycheck just to try to make ends meet. Like, yours truly will even say the same thing. Like, do you know how much VTubers or indie VTubers get paid? Not the same like corporate VTubers. That's definitely for certain. So, you know, it's a rough type of economy. And then you got other crazy stuff going in the world. I won't really talk about what's happening in the political landscape, but globally, you know, there's been a lot of tensions with certain countries, and people are, you know, for the most part concerned that there's going to be, like, some sort of global world war that might break out. You know, I don't know. You know, I could understand those fears because, you know, everybody's very quick to say, we got nukes. And you never know what's truly going to happen. So people are, I don't know, I felt like ever since 2020 came around, people just got more and more stressed out. Let's slow down. We're doing 75 and a 55. And then, you know, it's just caused them to get, like, really, really upset. I don't know. It's just like, I feel like there's a lot of mentally unstable people going around in general, too, that are, like, unchecked. Because, you know, mental health awareness is not something that's advocated as much as it truly should be. Like, oh man, Wolfies, I could tell you some stories of encounters I've had with people on the internet. And, like, I don't really necessarily get mad with some people that I have had run-ins on the internet with. because like most of the time when I see how they behave and how they interact, I'm like, yeah, they've got some kind of type of mental illness that's kind of latent. You could just kind of tell. We're gonna have to stop for more gas here, Wolfies, because got about a quarter of a tank. I could keep going, but I'm concerned with that 3-hour drive, and we can afford to stop and fill some gas right now. Okay. Yeah, let's stop for gas. That would be smart. Stop the engine. You know, it costs us less to fill up the tank now as opposed to if we let, like, the gas completely run out. Like, look, we only spent, like, what, $5? Oh, $193 in gas? Only $193 in gas, right? I got scared because I thought I bumped into something that caused property damage. Which then, guess what? That's going to come out of my pay too, right? Okay. Back on the road we go. On the road again. I can't wait to be on the road again. Maybe we should sing Country Roads, right? Oh, maybe I'll let you guys sing that one, because if I start singing, we all know what's going to happen, Wolfies. What is it? How's it go again? Take me home, country roads, to the place I belong. I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. Take me home, country road. Is Arizona technically considered country road, though? I wouldn't really consider Arizona necessarily. You tell me somewhere like Arkansas, a little bit more so Texas. Yeah, be careful of those cars that are in the back there. You never know. Never know. You gotta be very careful. Some of these trucks will clip you, too. So, you know, but I don't know. What do you think, Wolfies? What do you think's making people so crazy? You think it has to do with the fact of the pandemic? Think it has to do with the aftermath, people, you know, just not as financially secure, job market? What's going on? Is it just a changing of the times that maybe the younger generations are just like more up in arms about certain things? Like, I don't even really understand sometimes like stuff that goes on in the internet. Like, I'll be honest with you, I pay some time attention to what goes on in the gaming scenes, like what gamers in certain communities are doing, like Dead by Daylight, for example. Monster Hunter, obviously, I pay a lot of attention to because I'm very into that scene, as well as Diablo. And, like, I'll see people go up in arms and try to cancel, like, developers and cancel or gamers and stuff for things. And I just, like, don't understand why sometimes people are so up in arms. I feel like nowadays, and I've said this before in previous streams, like, instead of people having dialogues when things upset them, and constructively, like, share their opinions and sentiments and feelings. Nowadays, people have gotten to the point where it's like, if my opinion does not fall in line with your opinion, and we don't have the same viewpoints or ideologies or point of views, then the automatic knee-jerk reaction, so to speak, is to either cancel the person if they're, like, famous on the internet, or if they don't cancel the person on the internet, the other thing is, like, they will just start flaming the person. Like, and I really don't understand why people do that. Like, it's okay to agree to disagree on things, right? Like, but I see a lot of stuff in the VTuber sphere, too. It's just, like, I always kind of avoid doing trends, and that's why I kind of always tend to keep to myself for the most part, and just, like, focus on my content and focus on my community. Don't interact with as many VTubers. I'm not very shaded any VTubers, keep that in mind. It's just because I see the trends on, like, Twitter in particular, where, like, people are every other day trying to cancel each other for something, and, like, they're upset because somebody said something, or they'll take something that somebody said out of context, and it's just weird. And okay, we gotta pull in for a weight check here, so it should be coming up pretty soon. That's why it's reminding me. Yeah, there's a weight check that I gotta do here, because we have to weigh our vehicle. I think we're not gonna get a good inspection here, because my vehicle has been hit a couple of times before, and we haven't really done as many repairs to it as we should. Let me slow down. Gotta pull in here, right? Yeah, because we gotta pull in for inspection. Let's slow down, because we're way above the speed limit. So we're going to stop here. All right. Let's see. Your vehicle's not perfect technical state. Be more careful next time. But we can hold the weight. Yeah, I know my vehicle's not in perfect state. It has taken some hits. And I don't want to buy a new truck yet. I definitely don't want to do that. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, why do people so quick to... And it's funny, too, because it's like... I've seen stuff even in the Dead by Daylight community lately, Wolfies, where it's like... People have different opinions on certain killers, or killer versus survivor is always the most interesting thing. Where like a killer will complain about certain perks of a survivor, and then the survivors will be quick to attack the killer main in particular because they don't agree with the killer main's opinion. And then there's like killer main strategies that killers use that then survivors don't like in particular, and they will be quick to cancel certain killers and will jump at their throats because of certain strategies in that game. That's actually why I don't really play Dead by Daylight anymore. Not because so much I don't enjoy playing the game. Every so often I like playing a good custom match, or I could just kind of chill in a custom lobby and play, but like I don't play a lot of Dead by Daylight. You see, I haven't really even played it on the channel. Simply because like community-wise, everybody's always at each other's throats, and nobody can kind of understand that there's different ways to play that game. Like, I don't like to be face camped. I don't like it. I understand why some killers have to do it depending on the situation. People will complain about proximity camping where they move far away from the hook where it's not necessarily considered face camping. People don't like that. I understand again why killers do it. The free gen situation that they've been trying to address in patches, I understand that stuff too. You know, on the survivor side, like people say gen rushing and, you know, certain skills that survivors use, but to be honest with you, some survivors, like the skills, they kind of need to run them, like particularly if they're a solo queue and they're not playing with survivor friends, you know. And there's a whole unbalanced issue of survivor friends versus killer in general. You know, Discord kind of breaks the game, but they can't do anything about Discord, obviously, because it's, you know, a third-party device. Should people do that in Dead by Daylight? I'm not particularly fond of it. I understand why people do it, because they just want to be able to communicate. Like, that's, I think, what's kind of hurts Dead by Daylight in particular is the fact that because it's a game where you can kind of use outside third-party systems to get extra information on top of the killer, that's, you know, why it kind of really hurts the game in certain points, and why a lot of, I don't know, newer killers, I guess you could say, don't necessarily like to play Dead by Daylight anymore, or they will play for like a week and they'll stop playing, you know. And it goes that way too, because there's like, you know, killers that really have made their channels like actual YouTube channels where they just want to make the other side as miserable as possible. But like anytime like something gets nerfed in Dead by Daylight, anytime something gets buffed, anytime like a new killer's introduced, people will complain about it. Anytime there's a not a new killer that's introduced, or like there's a new survivor with good perks introduced, killers will. So I just kind of don't, and it's crazy. But Dead by Daylight in particular is one of those things where like I like the game, but because of the community, I don't play as much as I want to, because it's just a really, how do you put it, toxic. Why is my blinker still on? I'm sorry about that. A really, because I got so wrapped up in the conversation, a really toxic experience, right? So I don't know, you know, it's like it's weird. It's like Monster Hunter has some stuff like that to a certain extent, but not so much, because mostly when Monster Hunter community argues over something, it's never over weapons. Definitely it's never over balancing, obviously, because it's not a PvP thing. Usually when people in Monster Hunter complain about something, it has to do with like game mechanics that haven't been brought back, like underwater for Monster Hunter Free Ultimate. Like, there are some people who are big advocates for seeing it come back in like Wilds. There were some people who wanted to see it in World, but they didn't get it. Like, who is it in particular on Twitter? Tweeting Garuga. Like, they're very passionate about Monster Hunter, and sometimes their takes are not bad takes, but they could sometimes be controversial takes, right? And they're a little too controversial for some members of the community. Like, there are some people who started Monster Hunter and their only exposure to the game is Worlds, right? Let me see what this car is doing, because you saw the passengers trying to swipe me. Look at that erratic driving. What are you, drunk, man? That's why I slowed down. I don't want my car to get hit, because those are the type of erratic drivers that just kind of... See if we can shift into this lane here safely. But yeah, you know, so... Usually when Monster Hunter community complains, it's usually only because, like, a monster of theirs didn't make it back into the game for a title update. And I understand that, because, like, I don't make as big of a deal out of it. Like, I'll be honest with you. I was one of the people in the camp where I really wanted to see the World Eater return, aka Devil Joe. And he didn't show up in Rise. Is it something that made me upset? To the point where I'd be like, I'm gonna fight with people over because I didn't get Devil Joe and this monster that maybe I didn't like to fight is back? No. No, I don't do that type of stuff. But there are some people who do that in the community too. You know, there's also the thing of like, and I understand this because I'm kind of guilty of doing... It's okay, officer, you can go. You go first. Gotta respect the law. I don't want a ticket. I know better. And we were definitely way over the speed limit there. I'm not trying to get a ticket. But, like, with Monster Hunter... Oh, he's got the stop sign. He's probably waiting to see if I'm going to stop. Am I turning here? I'm going straight. I'm turning here. That's a DLC area. I do not... Be careful, these cars coming out of nowhere. Alright. Got our turn. But, yeah, you know, like, when it comes to... Monster Hunter, like, that, people get upset over that, but not so much. There are some people, like I said, and I'm guilty of this too, sometimes will complain about, like, newer players not investing enough in armor spheres, and then they try to take on super hard content, like Alatreon, Fatalis, another one that's a big stick in the mud for Rise and Sunbreak is Primordial Malzeno, as well as Amatsu, and stuff. I'm guilty of saying it, but I don't go to the length that some people go, where they're like, these players have no business being in here, or how dare they. Alright. Let's get our cargo. Right. Do we have the job here? Space for two? Let's take the job. Alright. Cargo and loading area. Can I drive out of here? Is there like another way I can drive out? I hope so, because if we have to drive around this way, it's gonna kind of not be fun to do, Wolfies. Just be slow about this. We have to, you know, factor in the weight of the car too, right? There's got to be another way to drive out of here, right? Surely they've got another way for me to drive. Skip loading trailer face? Yeah, sure. Let's load it up. I don't like to load that stuff, right? So it makes life a little easier if I can just skip that one. If you wanted like a true simulator experience of that, you're more than welcome to do it on your own. So, please. But yeah, that's the only thing. Like, and I don't understand sometimes too. Like, I understand. That's I think one of the reasons why I don't play specific games anymore. Like, I used to play Fortnite a lot, right? And I enjoyed Fortnite to a certain extent. I have friends who play like Fortnite even competitively, right, Wolfies? This is an 8-hour drive. This might take us the whole stream, roughly. But yeah, there's people who play Fortnite. I have friends who play. They're big content creators that still play, make guides and all that stuff. But when it comes to Fortnite, like, I was playing it. At one point, like, I was really into seasonal play and getting my battle pass, and I started getting a lot of Victory Royale. And I started taking the game too seriously, right? And the thing about it is, like, what I've learned, whenever you take a game too seriously, sometimes it becomes more stressful than it's worth. And then sometimes what ends up happening is you kind of lose your joy for playing said games. So I don't play Fortnite anymore for that reason. I don't play anything that's really like a first-person shooter or battle royale that's competitive, just because there's stressful situations, and I find myself having less fun playing those games. You know, on top of that, like, I've not really ran into anybody that's toxic, but it's just like, those type of high-level type of play, I can still play very well these games, keep that in mind. It's just something I don't enjoy to do, particularly on stream or like in video format as well. So that's why you probably won't see me on the channel play like Fortnite ever, or you'll see me like not play Apex Legends. I don't enjoy those type of games. I enjoy more like RPGs, as you know, dungeon crawlers, anything that really I can play, where it's mostly the success of whether I do well or not is mostly dependent on myself and my skills or lack of skills. Those are the type of games I really enjoy playing. Like, a lot of people have asked me on the channel, why don't I play Content Warning or Lethal Company? And, you know, I understand sometimes these guys would really love to see me try something different. But to be honest with you, the reason why I don't play games of that nature is because I just don't enjoy those type of things. And on top of that, it's like I don't have people personally that I know that I'm comfortable with enough that I'd be willing to... What is going on here? Wait. How do I... Can I drive through the cone? Look. Can I drive through? We're about to find out. I don't think I was supposed to drive there that way, but maybe? I'm not going to get in trouble. Apparently, I'm not going to get in trouble for that. So, we might have hurt our tire a little bit, but that's okay, Wolfies. That's okay. We're still good. Don't tell anybody that we kind of did that. We probably could have driven our way through it, but no, I was lazy. Plus, I didn't want to have to try to make the turn. How do I get through here? Guys, how do I... What is this? How do we, Are we gonna get through here? Our job is, we gotta deliver this stuff, man. Stuck in a traffic jam. How long do you think this is gonna take? Alright. Can I... Nope, I wouldn't be able to get through there, can I? Alright. It's a pileup, and there's a car. Oh my god. We're stuck in a traffic. I don't know how long it's gonna take us to get through here. I've never had this situation ever in Truck Simulator. I don't even know. How do we get through here? Oh man, I feel like we made a terrible mistake. Why didn't the GPS tell me? Why didn't the GPS tell me that this was going to be a situation? How do I get out of here? There's like literally a car just waiting there. Can I drive out of here? No, I can't drive out of here either. Oh no. I don't want to cancel the job because we're going to lose the money for it. How do I get out? I might have to... I don't want to damage my truck. Like, I don't think I can... Yeah. It just took damage for that. Oh. So much pain. What happens when you get stuck here? Are these things gonna move? I don't know what to do, Wolfies. How do... I don't even... We're gonna have to Google this, if anything. I don't know. What happens when you get stuck in a traffic jam like this? Does it stop? I don't know. This is a good question. Stuck in traffic... American Truck Simulator. Press escape to exit the game, restart the game, and resume driving. Relies too heavily on overly exaggerated. Alright. So, we're gonna try that. We're gonna try that and see if it works. Do you really want to leave the current? Yeah. Let's try that. Alright. We're gonna try again and see if that actually works. That would kind of suck if it doesn't let me through here. Because at least then, like, if there's another save point where we could just go to, I didn't really think that was going to be an issue here, because I know you don't want to see me in traffic and miss the job all that time. Let's see. Can we resume the job that we're on? Is that it? Did we not get the job? Did we just miss the job? Like, what's going on? So we just don't take the job then? We failed? That would be annoying, right? Like... Let's see. Yeah, that was it. We just don't get the job, apparently. That's annoying. After all that time we drove. Alright, let's go pick that up then. We'll make up to you. I'm actually pretty peeved by that. Because it was not my fault that the traffic went on like that. 3-hour drive. This is not as bad as the last one. At least we didn't really lose any money there. That's kind of annoying. Like, why would that... Doesn't that feel a little bit game-breaking to everybody else? I mean, for me, definitely. Let's stop. Alright. Let's drive. And I damaged my truck a little bit, too. And the whole nonsense. We were on good enough gas. We don't have to go there. Let's slow down a bit. Yeah, so anyway, like I was saying, though, that's kind of why I don't play games like Fortnite anymore. And also, yeah, like with... We were talking about content warning, right? Yeah, content warning... What's the other one now that I forget? Oh yeah, Lethal Company. I don't play games of that nature just because they're not my cup of tea. I like RPGs and stuff. You know, sometimes I'll dabble in action-adventure games. But... And another thing that I've noticed really as a VTuber, which has been kind of interesting, I've been doing this like, what, 4 years, even though I had a different model before under a different name. A lot of the time, like, people will make game suggestions, and they'll be like really interesting game suggestions, I guess is the way to put it. Like, I've had people recommend stuff that I would never play in my life. Like, if you're a regular viewer, you kind of know the type of games that I play. And it's been interesting sometimes. Like, my thing about Lethal Company and content warning is the fact that, like, I don't like those type of games. I don't really see the point in those type of games. I don't have a lot of people that I would be able to play those games with. I don't want to play with random strangers. Like, you'd be surprised at how many times I got asked by people I don't even know to collab with them in Lethal Company. And then from there, then it was content warning, because content warning is like the new jump off apparently for... And like for me, like I always say this, whenever I do stuff on the channel, as you see just like today with American Truck Simulator, it's like, A, can I find a way to have fun with this and do something different and unique that I haven't done with it before? 2, is it something that is really going to... Let's stop for the gas, just so we have a full tank. Then usually for me too, it's like, is it an idea that no one else has done yet? And it's okay, sometimes I do things that other people have done. Obviously, everybody at this point has done American Truck Simulator. I did it week 2 of the Moonlight Brew. Our second week together we played this, right? Is that turn here? Oh, weird turn. We're going to Flagstaff. Never actually been there in real life. Alright. 55 is the speed limit. So we'll observe the speed limit. I have to put on the lights pretty soon. What time is it? 7:08 a.m. Okay, so we don't have to put the lights on. It's morning time. Man, none of that stuff really saved. That's annoying when stuff happens. I guess if you get stuck in that type of traffic jam, there's no way to come back from it so that you don't get a penalty or anything. That's fine. Alright. So anyway, like I was saying though, you know, with those type of things, like, I don't have a lot of people that play with them. And like, for me, it's like, the idea, like, is the idea fun? Is the idea unique? I look to see, like, if the person that wants to work with me in terms of collaborations, like, what their vibe is, because vibes are important. People don't realize how important vibes are in VTuber collabs. Like, I'm a say-so VTuber. I don't curse. I don't say lewd stuff. I don't say not, you know, stuff that's not safe for work. I don't say things that could be necessarily controversial. We talk about games, we talk about stuff in gaming, we like to have fun here. I keep certain things out of my streams, like I don't talk about politics, I don't talk about religion, I don't talk about stuff in terms of like social society type of construct, so to speak. You know, so I keep it a very narrow line, because the thing is, like, you know, on the internet, in the world, where I live even, like, there's so many different types of opinions, right? And the other thing, too, is, like, if you wanted a political stream, you would go to a political stream. I've always viewed it that point. Like, my political beliefs are not something I would shove upon you, as I would hope you wouldn't try to shove your political beliefs on me. You know, I'm not religious. There are people who are religious, so I wouldn't shove my belief of not believing on somebody, as a, you know, just like I would hope they wouldn't try to shove their belief of believing onto me, right? That's just kind of how I operate. So that's why I try to stay away from certain topics, and why I mostly focus on gaming, and I'll talk about movies. Like, I know a lot of people, and I've said this before, want movie nights back. I'm waiting for movies I'm actually interested in seeing to be available. Like, I want to watch Godzilla -1, right? And -1 apparently is going to be on Japanese Amazon, of all things. I don't know if that also means that we're going to be able to see it on American Amazon. I'm hoping that's the case, because if that's the case, then I will probably do a Godzilla -1 watch along. Why am I filling up the gas again? I keep saying gas station. I'm like, I need to fill this tank up. Let's spend $23 that we didn't really need to spend right there, right? Not doing a very good job of money management, right? Okay, speed limit's 35 here. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing Godzilla -1, because I didn't get to see it in theaters. Godzilla X Kong New Empire, when it comes out, I'd like to watch it. I didn't go see it in the movie theaters. You know why? And people are going to kind of get mad at me, because they know, some people know I work film and television for a while. But the thing about it, why I'm not interested in watching Godzilla X Kong on the New Empire, is because they already announced the Blu-ray was coming out. I hadn't even gone to the movie theater to watch the movie, and they had announced that Godzilla X Kong Blu-ray was going to be coming out, like, it's a while away, but like in December, which means probably it's going to be on streaming video in the not too distant future, movies. So, you know, my thing is, why am I going to spend, in my area, movie tickets are, we're going to Los Angeles. In my area, movie tickets are $23 to $25 US. So why am I going to spend $25 to then find out that the movie's going to be available to rent in like a month or two, maybe even like in 3 months, and I'm going to get to pay less, like pay $9 to rent it, pay $5 to rent the movie, as opposed to $20. That's the big problem why a lot of people don't go to the movies anymore too. Like, people don't really understand this, but like big movie executives, studios don't seem to grasp this concept that the reason why so many people don't go to the movie theaters anymore is because the ticket prices are too expensive. Like, for you and a date, it's $50, and then concession prices, you're looking at like another $100, so you're spending $200 on a movie date when you could like take your date to a really good fancy dinner, right? If you're a family of 4, let's say, you know, it's you, the wife, 2 kids, it's gonna cost you like $300-400 maybe to go to the movies, with, you know, concession prices and everything. What person in this economy right now can afford to spend like $300 at the movies to take their families to the movies? What working American that's not making like top tier type of money, we're talking working class people, can afford to do that? Not many, right? Not many. You have to be you have to be, I hate to use the term high class, but you have to be, you know, in the 500,000 bracket to be able to. And the thing about it is even people in the 500, what is going on here? Let me be careful. I knew we were gonna have vehicle damage because the damn freaking see, this is where American Truck Simulator screws you over when you're using your regular truck, because now I'm gonna have to go repair the truck. So whatever my earnings, probably gonna lose a big portion of it now. But yeah, you know, so like that's the really big thing. And like, if studios were to lower the prices of movie tickets, particularly because here's the thing, why am I saying studios? All the movie theaters are owned by big movie studios. Lowe's Cinema, that's owned by Sony, if I remember correctly. Regal, owned by another big studio. Like, this is why you see, like, DreamWorks Pictures in particular, like, most of their movies go to Lowe's, while our movies, they're, like, more like Miramax, Warner Brothers, they kind of usually end up in Regal, although sometimes, obviously, they're also in Lowe's. Like, that's the thing. Like, the movie studios themselves are the ones that own the movie theaters. You know, there's no mom and pop movie theaters anymore. There's one where I live, because it's an independent movie theater. But, like, the ways of independent movie theaters have died out tremendously because they're too expensive for mom and pop shops to, like, actually get movies from DreamWorks or Warner Brothers or, you know, big studio movies to play in their small little mom and pop things. It's just too expensive to rent those type of films out to be able to make your money. So, you know, it's just like the industry itself is kind of, I don't want to say it's collapsing, but it's having an issue. And the fact that, you know, nowadays people don't really want to, and I'm a little bit guilty of it because it's like I don't want to watch the movie in the theater if I know it's going to be available on streaming services or to rent digitally in a month or two for less price. You know, the whole thing is digital streaming services in a way have killed the movie industry, particularly for like film releases. So, you know, nowadays it'd be a miracle if a movie stays in the movie theaters for longer than a month. Godzilla Minus One was like the rare exception where it actually had a very long, what was it, like 3 or 4 months. It got released in January and it didn't get like pulled out of the theaters till the very beginning of March, I want to say, is when the last of it started to get pulled out. Like, that's the one rare situation. But then other movies that have come out, which one is I'm thinking of? Transformers, what was it called? Rise of the Beast? That was in the movie theaters for like a month, and then afterwards it got taken out. It was already like on digital. It was like on digital when the movie was still playing even in the movie theaters practically. Like, it was just getting pulled and they were already putting it up. So like, it's digital has killed the way things have gone too. Like, I'm the type of guy that still likes to buy Blu-rays. I like to own physical media. So I can say I have this as a collection. That's what kind of upsets me about gaming nowadays. Like, obviously I'm a PC gamer. My gaming laptop doesn't have a CD drive or a Blu-ray drive or a DVD drive. It's just the laptop. Like, everything's digital format now, where like when I buy a game, it's only digital. I can't buy a game that has a CD. Like, if I wanted to get like old Diablo 2 on a CD, not that you need it because of Resurrected coming out, but like, yeah, I can't. I'd have to buy an external CD-ROM drive to be able to play it. You know, everything's going digital. Games gone digital. You know, the way we exchange payments has gone digital. You know, people nowadays, when I go to like McDonald's and I like pull out a 20, people look at me like, why aren't you paying with card? There's sometimes where I just want to pay with physical money. I don't want to go to the bank, or I don't want to, you know, because I always have money, physical money on the side in case I need to buy something, you know, like on the side, so I don't have to go to the bank. Or there's sometimes where, like, you know, the money that's in my debit account is for, you know, other purposes, so I don't want to spend that type of money, you know, so I will pay with, you know, physical cash. That's like money that I have on me. And you go and the cashiers will look at you and like, oh my god, I don't want to handle this cash, maybe because of the pandemic, you know, because COVID has scared people wanting to even like touch money, which I could understand to. I almost hit that car. That would have been sad. I could understand that to a certain extent, but for me, it's like, you know, if I don't have to touch money in my bank account because that's what my debit is, it's my checking account. If I don't have to touch things in my checking account for small things like McDonald's or, you know, Burger King, or, you know, to go to the supermarket, you need to get some milk. I understand it, but like, everything has been shifting to digital, and with switching to digital, I gotta switch to this lane. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be very tough. I gotta wait for this car in front of me to... This is gonna... Let me see if I can switch lanes. And we didn't get hit. Okay, good. Somebody hit me from behind, I think, or we just knocked over one of those cones, but it's fine. It's fine. No worries, Wolfies. Don't tell anybody. We don't want points off our license there. But like everything's moved to digital. And it's a shame because people don't understand also, like, here's the thing. If you go to McDonald's, right, and you buy from like the kiosk and you don't go and pay with like regular paper money, eventually the people who are cashiers at McDonald's that are like getting a little bit higher money now thanks to like the minimum wage increase in certain places are not going to have a job because their jobs are going to get phased out, right? And then from there, what's going to happen is, like, let's say you go to a bank and you don't like, I'm guilty of this, so I'm probably going to cost people their bank jobs. When I go to the bank, I just go straight to ATM and deposit money that way if I need to. I never actually deal with the tellers at all. Me not doing that is going to cost eventually those tellers to be phased out, and they're not going to have a job. So then people who have like going for like banking degrees and want to be like in banking institution, at some point we're not even going to need them because we do everything digitally, to the point like probably one of these days even loans will be dished out digitally, right? So then what's going to happen to those people? They're going to lose their jobs too. I mean, look at everything with the controversy of AI right now, right? And that's happening even in the movie industry, where a lot of the movie industries now are started to look at doing their graphic design work with the use of AI. A lot of movie studios have tried to like synthesize voices with the use of AI. They're trying to like synthesize characters and actors and like fictional characters and actors with the use of AI, so they don't have to actually hire new actors or low-level actors or even pay actors. It's crazy. You know, AI is going to replace a lot of people's jobs. And it will be unfortunate for them, but it looks like that's kind of just how it goes. When you start, you know, it's like the saying goes, once you open Pandora's box, you can't necessarily go. And, you know, with the artist thing in AI art, it really sucks for the artists. But there's, I gotta just keep it real. There's sometimes, and I've seen it with VTubers. I've seen it with people who try to prey on VTubers. They will charge some rates that are not necessarily fair. It's not the professionals, keep that in mind, but I've seen some quote-unquote freelance artists that have charged like a little too much for what their asking price is for the level of artwork that they're necessarily offering, and it's unfortunate, you know. But when you kind of overcharge for certain services and don't give like fair economy rate, you know, like actual rates that are actual market rates for the level of work that you do, it will probably push a lot more people to do those questionable things like AI art. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm not saying go do AI art. I don't advocate that you use AI art, but I'm not going to persecute people who do it either, for that matter. You know, if you do it, do you. But, you know, it's your prerogative. It's not mine. I'm not here to judge people and what they do. If I'm not the one doing it, I'm trying to see where we have to go. That's why. I think we're pulling into here, this depot, you know, but like even now movie studios ironically are foregoing using freelance artists for AI art. So what's going to happen, you know? Okay. Is this the gig? 3-hour drive. Let me check a quick second to see how much time we got left. Okay, we got an hour left. We should be able to do this. Alright. Because you came with your trailer to this depot, needs to be transferred to the garage in Phoenix before taking this job. Do you want to dismiss the current job and take this job? Yes. Alright. Do we got it? Your trailer is ready. Proceed to loading area. Oh, I hate doing this. My least favorite thing to do. I think it's those trailers in the back. I gotta switch view. I didn't realize that this was a regular job that I took like this. It's fine. We were trying to go for the most money, right? Oh. Ah, it's one of those. Okay, okay. No panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. I'm gonna have to switch views, though, for this. I can't do it from driver's side. I just don't have the skill set for that. Just because I can't gauge the turns as well as I need to. This is right. This is a little tip for people who are playing ATS, like, if you want to figure out how to do stuff like this, this is the best way in general to back into this stuff. this is a little tip, because I know somebody particularly, I can't name drop them, was trying to figure out how you back into stuff and drop it off. How you do it. Am I close enough? Okay. Why? So I picked it up. That's the only time I really use that view for that, in case you're wondering. Alright, so we gotta drive this out of the depot. We'll make the delivery there. We'll try to take very easy jobs for the moment. Just because we don't want... Gotta be careful with my turns here. This is the one area where you can get your trailer, if you're not careful, case in point, here, stuck. And then you don't want to have to deal with that. Alright, good job. So we got a 6-hour drive now, it says. Why? Let's use our turn signal. That car almost came out of nowhere, because I did not see in my rearview mirror, and that would have upset me greatly. Alright, so we're making a fuel delivery. This is probably going to take us to the end of the stream, I'd say. It's fine. Like, I'm doing basically... I want to say it's endgame American Truck Simulator content, because it seems silly that I would call it. I wasn't speeding. I was speeding. I was way above the speed limit. I didn't realize it was such a slow speed limit. Why? Well, we got busted. $1,000 out of our pay. It's fine. It's fine, Wolfies. Don't tell your mom, Wolfies. Don't tell your mom. She'll never let us have this. It's the next one, right? Yeah. I thought it was this road. That's why I stopped. You know, so... But yeah, you know, digital payments have kind of killed a lot of things. I have a feeling in a couple of years we're gonna have the, particularly movie theater industry, is gonna have an economic collapse. Where it's gonna become to the point where there's not gonna be movie theaters around anymore. And a lot of stuff is just gonna be debut on streaming services. You know. I think the only reason that hasn't happened yet is because internet at home is not the standard for everyone, despite the fact that people will say everybody in their home has internet. That is not the truth. Like, if you look at the analytical data, I think it's like 90% of American households have internet, and there's still like 10% that actually don't have. So I don't think unless, like, you get... Where I am, it's interesting because they're like making... What is it called? Municipal Wi-Fi available. So like free Wi-Fi in the city is kind of what they want for everywhere. Because, you know, obviously nowadays, internet, like, even for work, look at the stuff that I do. It's almost like a necessity at this point to be able to do things, to be able to operate. And a lot of places, that's become like a core requirement. But I feel like once every household has become internet enabled, maybe because of, you know, country initiative, that every household will have Wi-Fi, whether it's like free Wi-Fi or whatever, or internet. I don't know. I think eventually we'll get to that point in society if we don't blow each other up, which I hope. I'm not trying to even be funny or comical. I'm just like, the way everything's going on in the world these days, you never even know. But, you know, I think eventually it's going to get to the point where everything moves over to digital in terms of movie releases, to the point that there will not be a need for movie theaters. And when that happens, it's going to cause even more economical problems for people, because what is a job that a lot of people do? I'm not even saying if they don't, like, what's a job that a lot of people do, right? Let's say you don't have a degree yet, you're working towards your degree. Let's say you're in high school. Let's say maybe you didn't have opportunity to go to college to earn a degree for whatever reason. What is one of the jobs that you could do? Red light violation? Okay, that's fine. Pay the fine. Movie theaters, right? There's people who work in movie theaters. They work as ushers. They work as ticket taker people, I believe is their name, if I remember correctly. They work in concessions. All those people, so all those high school students that need, I don't know, maybe a summer job, or they need a job for after school, or all those people who are trying to pay for college, even though they were probably better places to work than the movie theater. Honestly, if you want to pay for college, I think you should probably be a bartender, because you make a lot of money bartending as opposed to, like, some of the jobs I just said. You know, what happens then? Those people, or let's say you're somebody that just, you know, weren't able to earn a degree, but you're trying to, you know, make a living to provide for your family. Movie theater is one of those jobs. What happens if the movie theaters close? What happens if fast food restaurants stop having people that work the counters because everybody pays digitally? Those people don't have a job to go to. What happens if bank tellers and bank clerks, or even the people that work in the bank that, you know, issue loans, everything goes digital? Those people don't have work. Why are people going to get banking degrees then, right? Because then you have a whole bunch of people in college for banking degrees, and if there's no need for them, what's going to happen to them? I will tell you an interesting story. I had a friend who got a degree in banking, right? And they were working in banks for a while. What happened? They were one of those people that suffered from corporate downsizing. The bank institution, this was around the time that the housing market was collapsing. My friend, they phased him out. He was, you know, earned a degree in banking and everything, financial. They phased him out, and what ended up happening, he spent a lot of time at home trying to get another job and wasn't really able to. I don't know if he works currently in banking. I haven't heard from him in a while because, you know, as an adult, you get busy and you can't talk to everybody. But his job got phased out. I had another friend who, he was working in the film industry, right? And like, more so on the writing end than really anything else. And he just never could get reasonable living from it, because the one thing they don't tell you about the film industry is a lot of people like to try to get over on you. I remember there was a time I went for a job interview before we get to my friend and his struggles, where I went for a job interview, and it was to work as a person that was going to work not so much as a production assistant, but like a associate producer, right? So that's like the person who works under, that's a person who works under the producers, right? So as associate producer. So I was going to work directly with the producer and the executive producer to help them manage tasks that they didn't have time to do. That's basically what an associate producer does, right? So it's a lot of taking care of the paperwork, a lot of taking care of the stuff that they don't want to necessarily do or they're too busy to do. And I went for the interview, right? And in the interview, it's going good. And I'm like, I did 5 interviews for this, Wolfies. 5 interviews for it. And in the last interview, and this is how people in the film industry try to get over on people, right? Particularly companies. The particular place that had interviewed for me was like, yeah, there's going to be a time where you're going to have to work 40 hours, unpaid, what was it? Unbillable 40 hours, which means they wanted me to work for a week at times without getting paid. And it's not like, oh, we'll pay you next week or we'll pay you double. No, there's going to be times when you're not going to be paid for a week, despite the fact that it's supposed to be 9 to 5, and it was going to be way more hours than 9 to 5 thing. So when I told them, what do you mean by unbillable 40 hours? Oh, well, sometimes you're going to work for free. I literally, this was like a Zoom interview, because this was during the pandemic was still going on, right? Do I need gas? I might need some gas. Not there, right? This is not a gas station? It looked like it. Oh, it's up ahead. Sorry. So yeah, what ended up happening was I saw that, you know, there was something sketchy there. I'm like, wait. You're not going to pay me at times whenever you feel like it for a week? And I still have to work for you? I thanked them for their time and said, oh, no, this interview is over right away. Right away, it was like, no, this interview is over. I've worked enough in the industry to know a bad deal when I see it. Like, another notorious thing that they do in the film industry is, like, they will use the excuse of unpaid internships to try to get people to do certain work, right? For them for free. So, like, you'll see something on, there's a website that a lot of people use to get film gigs, because a lot of us are freelancers, so we just work from gig to gig. So there's a place called Mandy's List, right? Mandy's List has the free version of the site and the paid version of the site. On the free version of Mandy's List, you get a ton of, look, how did I damage the trailer? I didn't even think I touched that. You have a lot of listings that will tell you work for free or it's an unpaid internship. My favorite one is like, they'll tell you, we can't pay you, but we'll pay you with IMDb credit. What is IMDb credit going to do for your electric bill? What is IMDb credit going to do for your grocery bill? Can I go to the grocery store and say, oh, I can't pay for the groceries? Can I use my IMDb credit that I have for working on this project, this film? Will you accept that for groceries? They're gonna look at me like I'm crazy and tell me to get, GTFO, right? And that's a lot of the stuff that I've encountered. You know what? I've seen a lot of shade deals. A lot of people try to get over on. There was another thing that I was gonna work for. I can actually talk about this because the statute of limitations is over. I was in line to work at Bleach Report for the BR Gaming department, right? This was again during the pandemic. They had the use for somebody that was going to come in and work under the producer to create stuff for their social media departments. So they were going to like try to buff up their Twitters, their Instagrams, their Twitch channel. I could talk about it because the statute of limitations over already. This happened way, way long ago. And I went through 5 or 6, 7 different interviews. And then this is just what happens in the business, right? What ended up happening was Warner Brothers Discovery merged. So Discovery Channel bought Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers was the ones that owned a portion of Bleacher Report. And when Discovery came in, they decided that they were not going to go for that. Like, they were trying to create a brand new division at Bleacher Report Gaming, BR Gaming in particular. Discovery decided that they didn't want to spend money on BR Gaming. They didn't think that it was necessarily a very viable place to work. Like, because their game stuff wasn't really popular on social medias and everything. Like, every once in a while, they'll still run something BR Gaming related on TBS in particular. But, like, Discovery didn't see a lot of value in it, so they don't want to start that new department that Warner Brothers originally was going to do. They didn't think it was worth the investment. So after I went through 5 or 6, 7 interviews and I could have gotten potentially the job, which would have been a very good payday for me, Discovery killed it. And when I went to talk about if I was potentially still in the running for the job, I was told that the positions have been phased out. Even the guy that I was going to work under, they got rid of him. So that's just the type of stuff that happens in the industry. It's crazy, and it's crazy, like I always say, and it's not a dig on any companies whatsoever, because I know, companies are in the business of making money, and anywhere that they see that they're not going to be able to make money or they're losing money, I mean, I'm the same way how I run the channel here. I don't do those things, right? So, it's all part of the game and stuff, but it's crazy how you could go through 7 interviews for a job, a very well-paying job in an industry, and then have it where you were going to get the job, apparently, and things get phased out, right? So things change in a blink of an eye. But that's the other thing too, though. With all these digital things happening, people that are like in college now for certain things that are maybe in their freshman year, they might not have a job to actually go to outside of it. Like, I'll give you another example. Can I say this without anybody getting in trouble for me saying it? I hope not. I have a cousin who works in GameStop. Not like, this is not like in the internet rumors. I have a cousin that works at GameStop and tells me he's fake. I have a cousin that works in GameStop. He doesn't work in this city. I think it's kind of one of the reasons I probably would never be able to work there. Not that I would necessarily want to be honest with you. And GameStop obviously is kind of on a decline, right? Because in GameStop right now, GameStop used to rely on used video games. Comes back to my thought about how everything's going digital, where, everybody plays on Steam, or they have like a PlayStation 5 and they get the games digitally, they don't get disc. Xbox Series S is the one that's like only digital, where you don't have disc and stuff. Yeah, things are changing, right? So a lot of money was made in GameStop back in the day when there used to be Funkoland, and then they got bought out. What were they? They were like electronic boutiques. From electronic boutiques, they went to Funkoland. From Funkoland, then they changed over to GameStop. And then GameStop was the one that was like the most successful incarnation, right? And now, you know, those things relied on selling used video games to make most of their profit. The second reseller market, right? And now with the digital age, they can't do that. So like they only make their money off of pre-orders for digital games. But guess what? If you're gonna buy your game on Steam, you're not gonna pre-order your game through GameStop to be able to play it on Steam. You're gonna pre-order your game on Steam. If you're gonna pre-order a game to buy it digitally on PlayStation 5, the PlayStation Network, I think is what they call it, right? Sony Online? No, PlayStation Network, right? You're gonna pre-order that on Sony. You're not gonna do it via GameStop. I hate to say it. I have a cousin who works here, and it sucks because, you know what? So GameStop has lost a lot of profits to the point where I was reading this on the internet, because who reads even newspapers these days, right? Another thing, who buys newspapers? Newspaper industry is going to be screwed too. Print journalism is dead. You know what? I got out of gaming journalism. I did web publication stuff. And, ooh, this is a sharp term. When, you know, websites started moving over to a video format, that was not what I was, like, skilled in yet. You know, it was a skill that I had to learn. I even went back to college to learn, like, video editing stuff. I didn't know how to... I knew how to do that stuff on an amateur level, but not on a professional level, right? Yeah, but, like, even print media has been phased out tremendously. But getting back to my point, I read it on the internet. Like, a lot of GameStop locations are in the verge of closing. A lot of branches are closing. You know, at one point, they were considering declaring bankruptcy. I don't know if they actually did go through it, because I gotta be honest, I don't pay as much attention. So, like, even my cousin, who, you know, is like a manager, literally legitimate manager at a GameStop, might not have a job, and he's got kids. You know, kids to support and everything. You know, good amount of kids. Like, you know, it sucks that, like, in moving away from physical media and stuff and moving to digital, it's killing jobs, and it's not killing jobs necessarily that are degree jobs. It's killing blue collar jobs. You know, which is ironic. We're playing Truck Simulator and start talking about blue collar jobs, but it's getting to the point where it's eliminating blue collar jobs. So what jobs are going to be left for people? Like, if there's no GameStop, if there's no movie theaters, if fast food is all like electronical, because there are testing even in Texas right now, like McDonald's that are completely self-automated, where you pay digitally and there's the kiosk and the food comes out in the conveyor belt and there's no human interaction. They're not going to need really more than one or two people to work those particular things, right, Wolfies? So what happens? There's no blue collar jobs. So what are these people going to do? A lot of these people are not going to be able to afford college. It's not like where I am in America, college is free. I mean, heck, we don't even have free healthcare. A lot of the times there's healthcare where people can't even afford. You know what? People work their whole life and they can't afford, like, home attendants. That's just literally how it is. You know, it's flawed. I hate to say it. I'm not trying to get political here. But we live in, particularly in America's, North America, United States, we live in a very weird type of country where everything's kind of backwards. Like, the right to live is so expensive, right? And I saw this meme and it was so funny. And it's sad, but it's true also. Like, why is it called the right to earn a living? Why do people who are born into this world have to earn the right to make a living, to actually live? That doesn't make any sense at all, right? Like, isn't that in our Bill of Rights that we have the right to actually live? So, like, the expression even earn a living, for me to exist in this world, I have to earn it. Why is it not like a foregone conclusion that because I was born, I automatically have earned the right to live, right? Like, I was reading it and my mind was blown because, like, I was talking to somebody over this. When they showed me the meme, I'm like, yeah, but in a way they're kind of right. Like, earn a living, as it's called. But, like, we're born into this world, but we automatically are not allowed to earn a living in it. And you go for these hurdles too, like you go and you get a degree and then people try to blackball you. It's just, I don't know, it's so weird, man. It's better sometimes in a way to be a freelancer or to be somebody that works, ironically, like in the trucking business, or something that works in a union thing where you're kind of guaranteed money on the table, you know, earn a trade, as they say, which is why it's always kind of funny too, because I talk to VTubers obviously all the time, right? Let me pause here because I gotta make sure that we don't get into an overrun here. My apologies. So hold that thought here where I look a second. Oh, we're still doing very good on time. Let's continue here. We'll probably only be able to make this job and then we'll have to end for the day. As you go further into the content of this game, the jobs get longer, but they pay more money. But yeah, you know, when it comes to like the whole concept of earning a living, like you were born into this world, shouldn't that be enough to like help? You know, fair thing? I guess not. It's crazy, but like the whole concept of that, you know, pay your dues. You need I didn't crash into anybody. Why did I get a car crash? Alright. They just penalized me for nothing, but hey, whatever. Yeah, but you know, like the other thing too, like with experience, I always laugh. Like people will tell young people all the time, you need more experience. Go out there and earn experience. But nobody's going to hire these young people because the prerequisite for a lot of jobs, guess what? 10 years worth of experience. Now, if you haven't been able to work in that said industry for 10 years, how are you able to get experience to work in the industry? Especially when the 10 years of experience that they want is 10 years of experience in said industry. That's the greatest oxymoron that I've seen lately. You know, and here's the funny thing in the VTuber market too, right? Corpo versus indie VTubers. I'm going to touch on this subject because I'm an indie VTuber, and you know what? I can discuss things like this. You know, there's a big question among a lot of indie VTubers, including myself, as well as many other people, whether it's really truly worth it going into a corporation. You know, we've seen a lot of recent popular indie VTubers who were corporate VTubers leave the corporate VTuber industry to become indie again. You know, we have a couple people. You know, obviously it started with the great exodus of Nichi Sanji, but a lot of people have left there to go to greener pastures. You know, we've had members even of people who worked in Hololive that are some of them are technically Hollow Stars, I guess I would say. It's not too many people from Hololive have left and gone indie, because we have Coco. Coco is in V Shoujo now. But you know, there's a lot of people who've banked on going into the indie scene because they felt like it's easier to market themselves. And you know what, the thing about it that they don't tell you, I have friends all over the place, not in, you know, things, but I, you know, Moist Critical I think says it best, because he has helped a lot of VTubers that are indie try to secure contracts that wanted to go corporo, and they look at these corporate contracts and like there's stuff that is in that writing that leads you to believe none of these poor young people that are trying to pursue their dreams had a lawyer look at it, right? And here's the thing, I always put it on my standpoint here when it comes to corporate VTubing. If an offer was made to me formally to join anywhere, if the idea was right, if the pitch was right, if the people I was working with, I believed in their mission statement, if I felt like everybody there worked really hard and was going to put out their best effort, and we're all working truly as a team, united, and I don't feel like maybe I was going to play second fiddle to anybody, or like I was going to be a second-class citizen, so to speak, I am willing to do business with those corporations. But, you know, what it comes down to is, like, as an indie VTuber, you know, I'm on my way to being partnered here. I'm affiliate on Twitch. Like, if I want to go back to Twitch at any time and start streaming and making money, I could do it at any time I want, and I'm not going to have a problem. You know, I'm pretty okay set up in monetization at this point, where do I really need somebody to help me for that particular thing? Merchandising and stuff? I mean, I guess I could learn to do that on my own. You know, like, is there really any truly benefits to going corporate at that point? A lot of us indies are questioning that, you know, but like I said, if the pitch is right, I would have my lawyer look it over, because I'm not going to sign a contract unless I have my lawyer look it over, because I won't sign the dotted line unless I have lawyer legal representation look it over, because you got to protect yourself, right? You know, look at something that happened in Niji maybe had that person, I'm not going to name drop them, honestly looked at their contract before signing it or renegotiating or whatever, because I don't know how long-term contracts go in these places. Maybe they wouldn't have been screwed over as much as they did. You know, that particular incident always kind of calls attention to these things. But I'm willing to do business with corporations if they want to, if the pitch is right, if the idea is right, if the people who work there are passionate, if the people that work there are not lazy, because I've seen stuff in corporations where the people who work there are just kind of going through the motions, right? And my thing is, as a VTuber, indie VTuber, if I'm going to leave what I've already established here and like now monetization, we're going to have to go, can we go through here? Is this the same problem? It looks like I can go through here this time. I'm hoping I can go through here this time. Yeah, there's no helicopter. I was about to say our arch nemesis was going to happen. Like, if I'm going to leave what I have already established here, it has to be a good payday, first of all. I'm not going to leave what I've built up on my own. We took a red light there. That sucks. I'm not going to leave what I've established to go somewhere else to find out that I'm going to be set up for failure. And the other thing about it is, like, I want to know that the people I'm working with are passionate and not lazy. Because I've seen places where I personally feel like the people that work there don't put in their best foot forward and are just like, well, this is the only numbers that I can do, so I'm just going to kind of live with it, and that's it. And for me, that's not good enough for what I do. As you see here all the time at the Moonlight Brew, I put my best foot forward, right? So, oh, this is where I keep getting tricked, because there's a whole bunch of jobs in the area. And then I think that this is the job I have to go to, and it's not. So we probably, the last time when I drove in, I didn't have to drive there. I kind of sabotaged myself. But yeah, like, that's the thing that's kind of important to me, work ethic. I like that fun. You see, look at the way I'm dressed today. I could have just done the American Truck Simulator stream and it just kind of gone through the motions and been like, yeah, I'm gonna make this sharp turn here, breaker, niner. Or I could be like monotone and be like, oh, okay, there's gonna be a red light coming up here. I'm gonna stop at this red light because this is the red light that I gotta stop in. I don't know if I can make this turn just yet. I think I'm just gonna wait. And then I don't say anything. That's not fun. That's not showing your best foot forward. That's not showing your greatest effort, you know? There's some people, sometimes I feel like they play too much into character, and then they don't even go truly all in with it. You know, and it's fine, but, you know, like, for me, it's like, I just see some of this stuff and it bothers me, too. And here's the other thing, too. Like, I'm just gonna pull the curtain back because I'm allowed to do this. I'm an indie VTuber, and, you know what? It's okay for me to say things like this, right? I feel like a lot of the times when it comes to male VTubers, particularly male VTubers in the corporate type of light, corporate male VTubers, there's not a lot of them, first of all. Secondly, I feel like a lot of the times they try to play too unhinged to the market. I mean, it works for some of them, but the problem is I feel like the reason why, you know, here's the thing. I gotta go for the relay, it's fine. We lost more money than we made this job, probably. Here's the thing with male VTubers. I feel like male VTubers on the corporate level have gotten to the point where they feel like they have to be unhinged. They have to be a little bit yabe. They have to be a little bit more, how do I put it, less masculine. And they have to be more girlish / boyish to draw viewerships. And here's the thing. I spend a lot of time on Reddit because I do market research as a male VTuber myself, right? And on Reddit, I will look at what regular viewers feel about male VTubers, right? And a lot of the times when it comes to male VTubers, the reason why a lot of people on Reddit don't like to watch the corporate ones in particular is because they say they don't feel like they can identify with them. They feel like they're playing too much into tsundere type of character, or they're playing too much into, you know, being very pervy, or very, like, super flirtatious or very needy to try to play into, you know, female audiences, I guess. And the thing about it is, if you look at a lot of the corporations still, the majority of the demographic is actually male viewerships with a very small percentage of female viewerships. So if you're a male VTuber at these big corporations, I've never really understood why you don't market yourself and present yourself in a way where you appeal to people of all walks of life, right? This was a terrible turn and I damaged that trailer, and I'm fine with that because I'm getting passionate and not focusing on the road so much. Like, my thing is, like, why don't try to play up to an audience that's not necessarily there. The majority of the people I've seen on Reddit, the reason they don't watch a lot of the male corporate YouTubers comes down to the fact that they can't identify with them. They can't identify with them, right? Because they're not just one of the guys. They're not keeping it real. They're trying to play a little bit too much and trying to ham it up a little bit, maybe too much to the camera. And that doesn't work for male demographic. You know what? We just talked about the job market here, right? We just talked about why, you know, digital might be phasing things out. We talked about movies and why I don't go to the movie theater sometimes. We talked about, you know, a little bit of things that are going on in the world. Did I have to do that in flirtatious with these guys? No, I didn't have to do that. I'm just keeping it real. So I feel like, you know, if you want to have your male audiences identify with you and be able to relate to you, you have to be relatable. And I feel like that's the kind of the missing link a lot with some of the male corporate VTubers that are kind of floundering, so to speak. They're too unhinged. Like, they feel like they have to be these really rowdy, raunchy guys to get over. Because they see one guy do it and then they're successful doing it, right? And they have to mimic that because they feel like if they mimic that, that's going to get them to that type of viewership. I'm not name dropping, but you know who I'm talking about, right? There's one that's at the top of everything right now, and they have a very unique style of how they do things. You know, I feel like that type of style for VTuber will get you into trouble, because there's a possibility that in playing with that character, you might come off inappropriate to the opposite gender, which I have seen rumblings of people saying that before. But, you know, that's really how it is, Wolfies. Like, you have to, and, you know, so people copy that. And, like, you can't be that person. You have to be unique. I've always said this. You have to be your own individual. You have to be yourself. If you're a VTuber, male VTuber in particular, and you're not being yourself, and you're trying to play into something, it's not going to work. I'll tell you that from experience, Wolfies. You know, I did for a while before the dragon gimmick, where I still played myself, and that's why we did so well with that. I did the vampire VTuber gimmick, and I did it with a Romanian accent. And you know what? I tried my best to kind of play like a 1940s vampire, and I hated it. Tremendously hated it. It was very taxing on my voice, and on top of being very taxing on my voice, it made me not happy. You know what? Because I was not playing myself. I was playing too much of a character. We're gonna play it safe. I was too much of a character and not enough me. And it might have worked for some people, but they don't work for me. And that's always what I do stuff. It has to work for me. I like to keep things real. Let's just park this here. Park it, park it, park it. Let's get that good parking. Hold on. Let's see, is this good? No, it wasn't good. Give me 1 second. You could skip it. I just hate the... Oops, sorry. Wrong one. Let me switch here. Give me 1 second. We gotta move the trailer here, right? Two over, right? No, let's skip it. I don't want to run that risk. We got an excellent anyway coming out. How much money we made from that? Oh, we made $23,000. So even though we took a lot of twists and turns, that was worth it. Let's see if there's another one we can do that's within time. I have too much time, Wolfies. I'm sorry to say that. Hour and 35. Let's see if we could do a really quick one, if it's not like too far. If not, we'll have to stop halfway into it. Did I get a level up here? No, don't look like that. Emails. Overdraft settled. Account is overdrawn. I did all these. Brand new Peterbilt trucks for sale. Not yet. I want to buy a brand new truck, but not just yet. How long are these things, though? I want to do by lane. Shortest lane. 15 minutes. Let's do that. Hashtag? Confirm? Alright. 15-minute job, right? Can I take that? Let's take the job. 15-minute gig. Okay. Trailer's ready. Let's move out. Am I gonna have to back up, it looks like? How am I gonna get out of here? Back up. Alright, hold on, Wolfies. This is the worst way to have to do this. I think we're gonna have to drive around. Oh, hold on. So I'm gonna deliver this? What the hell happened here? I'm so confused. Oh, we're taking another one, right? Oh, okay, okay. Okay, okay. I can't really see because of the lanes. We'll see where we're picking up in a minute. I just gotta try to drive out of here. Felt like damaging my truck is the most important thing. It's like on the opposite end, right? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to see. Looks like... Oh, this is gonna be a rough one, right? Keep an eye on the road. We'll do one more and then we'll kind of bounce through. Alright. There's a gig here that I'm taking? Oh, okay. I think it's this way, right? Yeah. So we're not picking that one up. We're picking one up from here? Right? I don't see anything. Do you? Should be like right here, right? There it is. Okay. Hold up. This is going to be a tough one to drive through. Maybe we shouldn't have taken that. I just gotta... It's hard. Because we gotta line it up perfectly. I kind of feel like not taking this job after seeing it. 1 second. This is the one problem with American Truck Simulator. Hold on. Let me cook. Okay. 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 Hold on. It's positioning the wheels that's always kind of... Apparently I would have been a good parallel parker. Alright. That you could not do in first-person view. That's why I'm doing it this way. Let's see. It's good enough? Alright. We attached it. Alright. Where are we taking this baby? I think it's a 15-minute ride, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, a 15-minute ride from here. You know, but yeah, that's the fake, really. I don't understand it. I'm kind of a little bit perplexed by it, why so many guys try to ham it up for the camera. I mean, I guess they think they have to imitate some of the more raunchy RRL streamers, and that's why they do it, but it's according to Reddit, from what I read a lot, it doesn't work for people who are interested in VTubers that are males. They're not relatable. So that's why I try to do things here where I'm just like literally, you know, I do things a little idle-like because I kind of like that because it's very family-friendly entertainment. And I like family-friendly type of entertainment. But at the retrospect of it, it's one of those things where, you know, it's just like, I like to be me. And if I'm not going to be me, what's the point in doing it? And I don't, like, I've seen that it just doesn't do anything for people. Like, you know, at least in big corporos, I feel like they have to retool how they present themselves. So that's why, like, for me, when it comes to, like, corporos and stuff, I always say, I'm gonna get some gas. You know what? Oh, we were able to get it? I'm surprised. Because I came in hot there, very risky. But yeah, like, with corporate stuff, it's like, for me, it needs to be a good pitch, it needs to be a good idea. And I have to have, like, the freedom to be me. Am I stuck? Am I stuck? I am stuck, okay. I gotta back up. Alright, I was wondering, like, I stuck would be bad. But yeah, you know, might have to back it up all the way. No, I didn't need more gas. Trying to get out of here. Oh, would be a stream if I didn't get the trailer stuck at least once today, right? Alright, how am I gonna get out? I'm gonna get back on the road, right? So I'm gonna have to make a U-turn. Without running into things. Oh, this is gonna be pleasant to try to get out of here. Alright. Alright. Okay. I don't think that's the way we were supposed to drive back onto the road, but let's say it's okay. I feel like I just broke a whole bunch of traffic laws doing that. We damaged the trailer. Oh, of course. This is gonna be fun. This is what I get for talking about corporate VTubers today. But yeah, you know, that's on me. Let me back up. I need more space if I'm gonna be able to drive out. Alright. Jesus, take the wheel right now, because, man, am I gonna need it. Alright. Are we still stuck? Ah, it's that last wheel. Let's see if that does it. Yay, we're finally out of there. Took long enough? Okay. You know, but it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens in the corporate sphere. But I feel like, you know, my thing is really I want male VTubers to be able to break the glass ceiling, and a lot of the ones in the corporate just haven't really become trailblazers to help, you know, some of the more up-and-coming ones try to get their bearings. You know, it's sad, but that's kind of how it is. You know, so that's why I've always kind of made it a mission to be appealing to all demographics, not only male but women demographics as well, because if you can appeal to everybody, then you don't have to worry about, you know, you appeal to everybody, you have a wide audience there. That's why I always keep things PG too, because like if I'm unhinged, right, and I'm saying like dirty things, non-safe for work things, or I, you know, do things that are lewd, a good portion of people on YouTube wouldn't be able to watch me. I probably wouldn't even be able to stream on YouTube, because YouTube is a little bit more strict about that type of stuff, right? You know? And the other thing is, like, you know, I want to set a good example for people. Like, what happens if there's an up and young teenager or kid that, like, you know, likes what I do here, and they want to be just like me, and I'm being lewd and vulgar, which, you know, I'll give you an example that'll work. Ninja, you know, the big Fortnite streamer, I guess he plays more than that, first-person shooters, battle royales. He has a lot of young viewers, obviously, right? Because Fortnite is a younger audience of player base. And those viewers, I remember reading the article where a mom was very, very upset at Ninja because her son watched and Ninja cursed quite a lot, because that's just his personality. He acts, no disrespect to him, I know that's his kind of shtick and stuff, but on camera he portrays himself, you know, he curses a lot and kind of acts a bit toxic. That's just kind of his shtick. That's what makes him as a content creator, right? I'm not knocking him. That's just an analysis of what he does as a content creator. And you know, kids were watching, the parent was saying that you know, the guy curses a lot. So, you know, I'm pretty sure why a lot of the male audiences that are watching the male VTubers that are corporal are not able to identify with them is because I've seen them drop a lot of curses, act quite lewd and needy and stuff, and you know, sometimes males, homies, don't want to watch that. They just want to watch their homie game and, you know, do so without having to drop an F-bomb for like shock value all the time, or, you know, say something because of shock value. Nowadays it's a lot of content creation, more so on the Twitch and not so much on the YouTube, because there's, you know, we have guidelines. It's about shock value, so they do like the most risque things to be able to get shock value. And yeah, you'll pop some audiences here and there, right, for a number, but the problem is you're going to attract audiences that eventually is going to run problems with you, right? Like, unless you really enjoy being lewd and not safe for work and cursing all the time, there's a high probability that it's going to get tiresome for you and you're not going to like it, and then you will run the risk where you attract very unsavory, so to speak, people. And at that point, you've gone so far down the rabbit hole, committed to that type of personality and shtick, that you won't be able to change it, because if you do, your viewership would decline, right? That's just kind of how it is. So yeah, you know, something. But it's interesting, because like when I was reading why a lot of males don't watch the corporate male VTubers, it was interesting to see that it was really comes down to people, they don't find them relatable. Like they don't feel like they're one of the guys, and they feel like they're just hammering it up too much for the camera, and that they're just not being themselves, really. It's just interesting, but you know, that's how it is. So, you know, I hope for those corporations, you know, because I don't even know if really a lot of those places are even going to hire more male VTubers, because I feel like the male VTuber corporal experiment might have failed for all intents and purposes. You know, there's still a market for it, obviously, right? But it's not, they don't, the numbers that I see for a lot of them are not doing well. I mean, look at VShojo. There's only one male VTuber there. It's only one. There's no, the rest of it's all women. You know, there's a couple of other places. Look at Face Connect. Face Connect doesn't even hire male VTubers. So, you know, there's only two places you can really go. Niji Sanji, which we've seen kind of what's happened with them, which is, you know, it's unfortunate that their company has kind of gone the way it has, but it has. And, you know, that's what you do at that point, right? What do you do? It's, you know, if you're a male VTuber, do you go to Niji Sanji? Probably not. So where are you going to go then? You're probably going to want to end up in Hollow Stars, but I mean, look at Hollow Stars. Hollow Stars is really probably the better of the male VTuber orgs they could probably end up in, but at the same time, there's not really, you know, they're going through their growing pains, so to speak. You know, two of the founding members left to pursue other things, and they've kind of painted the picture for a lot of us, you know, VTubers that are indie, that maybe going there is not necessarily the best destination for a lot of us, right? But who knows? You know, it's, everybody's going to have a different opinion when you're in the inside and out, and then you leave. You know, you're probably going to have some negative sentiments. We've seen it happen with our indie VTubers. I think the only person who's kind of left somewhere and has been very positive about it is Made Mint, where they, you know, they didn't really touch too much on it, but they kind of kept it positive and good. And Kirikoku also, because Kirikoku, when she left to then become Keisan, she's been very positive about her time in corporate. So, you know, obviously not everything's the same. Everybody's going to have different experiences, but, you know, Hollow Stars has had a lot of growing pains. And, you know, the guys, they work very hard, some of them. I don't feel like all of them really do, to be honest. And that's just my, you know, from my perspective, from what I've seen. You know, they haven't really peaked the numbers like the girls have. And the thing about it, too, is like when I try to watch a Hollow Star stream, they're never streaming. And I'm like in NA East Coast, but they're never streaming. Like, I've never seen any of them streaming in the morning. I never see any of them streaming in the afternoon. I see them occasionally stream in the evening, but it's like, you know, when you watch Hololive, right? And even Niji Sanji stuff and other places, you have one or two that are on at the same time. And then when they end, somebody else is starting. When they end, somebody else is starting. And then you look at like Hollow Stars, and they don't have like that same type of structure. I don't know if that's because of schedules with the individuals doesn't work that way or what, but like, you know, how cool would it be if Hollow Stars, like, from my point of view, outsider looking in, you had one guy that started, right? And when he ends, it leads into the other guy. And when that guy ends, it leads into another guy. And when that ends, another guy, like a 24-hour rotation. I know they don't have enough talent to do a 24-hour rotation, but surely it could be doable, right, Wolfies? Like, that's how I look at it. So, like, I look at Hollow Stars and I'm like, yeah, that's... I don't want to say it's the best of the worst, but it's one of the only feasible options, but anybody coming in there has got a lot of work cut out for them, because you have to change, like, a whole perception of how males just watch male VTubers, right? Because Reddit is, like, the best place to really get information on stuff like this, right? Because Reddit users are people, like, I'm on Reddit too, right? If you don't know that, you don't know they might use on Reddit, but I'm on Reddit too. You know, so it's interesting from a market research perspective as to why things are their way. And a lot of people always ask me like, hey, Category, you've been in it long enough, right? Like, why don't you do something? Why don't you do and make something of your own? I don't have that type of capital, to be honest with you, Wolfies. Like, and I feel like if I were to start something that's a VTuber type of agency for male VTubers, without the type of financial capital that's, you know, that you need to run these type of things, you're just going to be like another low-level indie group, VTuber group that's never going to be able to do things, because you need financial capital for, you know, being able to create people's models, being able to create promotional material, you know, graphic cards, promotion, advertisement, websites, hiring editors, hiring clippers, all this stuff that big corporations have, you know. It's like, before, let me park this here and then we'll get into it. I'm just going to play it safe. You know, because why mess it up there, right? Let's make the money. Made 9,000. No, we're not going to do current job market. I think we have enough for skill now, right? Yeah, so we're going to do skill. High cargo, low cargo is valuable, but some loads are more valuable than others. Companies trust only proven event. Let's see, fragile cargo, just-in-time delivery. Need to deliver something important. Fuel economy. Long distance. Maximum distance you could travel on duty. Let's go fuel economy for now. Let's put a point into that, all right? So that way I don't have to stop for gas as much long term, you know? So I'm going to take us back into just chatting a second here, if you don't mind, Wolfies. Oh, we're making pretty good time, ironically. I finished right on cue here. But I'm going to take us into just chatting here. Hope you all enjoyed me just like chatting with you. I was playing American Truck Simulator. It's a little bit different because thanks to American Truck Simulator, I can do things of this nature, which is kind of cool of playing a game like this, where I could just really spend a lot of time yapping and just chatting with you. But let's go back into just chatting. Okay, so that was American Truck Simulator. We had a lot of fun. Another topic, like I was saying, that people were talking about, well, if you're not willing to do a VTuber agency because, you know, you have a lot of insight and you probably have a lot of opinions on what could make male VTubers successful. Like, why won't you join a corporation and become like, do something on the management end? I'm not ready to give up being on front of the camera. I really enjoy being in front of the camera. I really enjoy streaming. I really enjoy gaming. I really enjoy what I do, interacting with my viewers here, interacting with, you know, people even in VODs when they watch. By the way, hello, VOD watchers. We enjoy you. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. If you watch to the very end of the stream, please leave a truck emoji in the comment section. That way I know that you were watching us on VOD. That way we can know that you're here. We like to keep everybody accounted for here. But yeah, you know, I'm not ready to leave in front of the camera to move into a management position. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of places that would love to have me there to work on a management side of things, but I'm not ready for that. I enjoy entertaining. I enjoy gaming. I enjoy, you know, video editing. I enjoy video making based on my background. I enjoy giving my opinions on things, talking about things, you know, reviewing, critically analyzing video games. That's where I enjoy still doing these things. Maybe one day when I'm not enjoying those things, I would perhaps potentially take a management position somewhere where I would manage our talents and try to point them in the right direction. But I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to leave. I've been doing this for 4 years as an indie VTuber. If I could do it as a corpro, I would. If not, fine. I've seen so many other corpros leave to become indies. And, you know, if indie scene is where it's at, then, you know, so be it with that type of things. But with that being said, this is the final stream for this weekend. I know that we were originally going to have Final Fantasy VII here, but I felt like it's better to have it at the beginning of a week. It's going to be a long stream too, because it's going to be like at least 3 hours, which is a lot longer. I felt like 3 hours on a Saturday might burn you guys out, because usually we like to do casual things on a Saturday, right? So that's going to be like Tuesday that we're going to do it most likely, or Monday, depending how I decide to flip the schedule of next week. So that's how we're going to start next week with Final Fantasy VII OG. And be on the lookout, because we will probably have a very cool, unique model to be able to do that particular series. Very similar to how we did Dragon Ball Fighter Z here earlier, Wolfies. But yeah, you know, we had fun. I might play more American Truck Simulator in the future if you guys enjoy this type of format, where you just hop in the car and we drive around and we make deliveries and we just chat. We talk about topics in the world, topics about myself, maybe in the future we can just talk about topics about you as well. You know, everything that I do here, I do as a test. Like, there's some things that we always run on the channel because we know viewers really like them, like those particular games. So I try to keep those games on the rotation because I know you like it. And then when I see sometimes you guys stop being interested in something, I will retire it for a while. But if you know American Truck Simulator is something that you like and you feel it's cozy and you like me just yabbing with you, chatting with you, whatever you want to call it, you know, shooting the shot, so to speak, definitely let me know, because we could do more, not like multiple times in a week, but we could do it like every so often. I'd be down to play like American Truck Simulator maybe once every month. I don't think I would do it like once every week. Not really my cup of tea to do it once every week. I do like playing this game off stream. It's very relaxing, first of all. Like, and that was kind of the point of today's Saturday stream. I wanted to be relaxed and do something relaxing. Final Fantasy VII is not necessarily the most relaxing game. That's why I try to keep things more chill on Saturday. So it made sense, even like in terms of management. I was talking about it. I was like, yeah, you know, maybe we run this instead at the beginning of the week instead of the end of the week, where everybody's kind of like, you know, batteries need to recharge and just want to relax. And yeah, so we did that. That's basically what we do here. We call audibles when necessary. But yeah, it is actually time for me to go, Wolfies. I hope you enjoyed this morning stream. There is no stream tomorrow, week 17, correct? Am I looking at that correctly? Let me double check here a second before I tell you the schedule, and then it's not that day. Let me double check here. I want to make sure, is it week 16 or 17? I think we're going on our 17th week, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just look. I actually have a title card folder. That's when I make my title cards, I also make my schedules in that same folder, which is not the best way to do things. I need to organize on my computer a little bit more, but let's see what we got. What do we got? Where is it? Week 17 we're coming up on. This was week 16. Wow, we've been here 16 weeks ago. Can you believe it right now? But week 17 schedule will be posted Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You already know that Final Fantasy VII is going to begin the week. It's just a matter of what else is going to be plugged in to that week, Wolfies. But with that being said, as the saying goes here at the Moonlight Brew, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I will see you Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern for Final Fantasy VII, the original one, Wolfies. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you here on Tuesday, Wolfies.